Hello everyone, welcome to my new series Glows Guide. In this series, I'm going to teach you guys all the coding concepts you will need to make your own Roblox games. Now, today's episode is going to be covering variables, but before we get into that, please check to make sure you're subscribed. If you don't want to miss out on future episodes of this series, or just other videos in particular, please consider subscribing so you can see those videos and so they'll reach it to more people. Now, let's start the video. The first variable I'm going to want to cover is the integer. Now, an integer is a number variable which can hold number data, except the difference between number values, which is a variable we will be covering next, and integers is that integers cannot be decimals, only whole numbers. So they can be 1, 2, 3, but they cannot be 1.5. The next type of variable is the number value. Number values can be any number you want, as long as the decimal is not more than 3 decimal places long, as Roblox Studio does not process anything beyond that point. These number values can be used to possibly take track of money or used in weight values that need decimal points. Another variable type is the string value. This variable keeps track of text, and it holds all the text you need to display on the screen. For example, the text on a text label in a GUI. The final variable we're going to cover is the bool value. Now, the bool value is a true and false variable. A check mark is placed visually when it is set to true, and a X is placed visually when it is set to false, or sometimes it's just an empty box. Now that we know all about variables, let's try them out in a real scenario. So let's say you want to set up a leader stat system for your game where you can track all sorts of things about the player. So let's start by creating a script in server script service, which I will call player stats. And in this script, we are going to make a function, which we will be covering in a future episode, to define when the player joins. So, game dot players dot player added on connect function and player. Now, what this function would do is it will detect when a player joins the game, and it can run a series of code for them. We will go more into depth on that in the function episode, but let's start by defining our variables. First, let's create an integer value for a coins value I'll make for the player. So, local coins is equal to instance dot new integer value, or int value for short. Next, we will start by setting coins value. Coins dot value is equal to 0. And finally, we can set the name. Coins dot name is equal to coins. Now, let's say we want this to be stored in the player. We can do that by setting the parent. So coins dot parent equals player. Now that we see this example, let's say we want to display it. Well, we're going to store this variable in a folder called leader stats. So what we're going to do is say local leader stats is equal to instance dot new folder. Now we're going to take leader stats and we're going to parent it to the player. So leader stats dot parent is equal to player, and finally set its name. Leader stats dot name is equal to leader stats. Now, let's finally start by changing coin's parent from player to leader stats, which is the folder it will be stored in. Now, we have a lot of variables in these statements, so let's cover all of them. First, instance.new. That's just creating a new object within the workspace. So we're creating an int value, which will be stored in the player leader stats folder, and we're creating a folder called leader stats, which would be stored in the player. Now, in these parentheses, you see that we have the names stored in here. These are string values. These are the text variables I was talking about earlier. And right here is where we set the value of the integer value. Now, if we were to set it to something like 1.5, it would either round up or down depending on the decimal. Now that we've written this code, let's enter the game and test it out. We can see now that it says Glow Studios, and next to it, it says coins. We can see the variable, and we can see that it works. And if we go into the server, we can go into our leader stats folder, go into our int value, and if we change it to 5, we can see that it now displays as 5. Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see future tutorials like this, or just want to guarantee that I will continue this series, please like the video and leave feedback below so I know that you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.